Welcome to the first ever Tales of a Campground Host podcast. I'm Travis.
I'm Stephanie.
And tonight we're going to try something a little bit different. We're sitting in the backyard in town, so we're at home, we're not at camp. You may hear some
Traffic,
maybe the occasional barking dog,
hopefully
mewing
no
cat.
sirens.
Hopefully no sirens.
Because we actually are not too far from the hospital in town.
Hopefully you don't hear the medevac
chopper either.
But the reason for that we're trying this is we've never done this, and secondly, it never fails. When we start talking around the fire or when we're going for a drive, we have these absolutely awesome conversations that we want to share with you.
And they turn into missed opportunities.
We've never recorded them. So this recording's going to get edited. I don't know for sure where it's going to end up as far as how you're going to be listening to it, but it's going to get chopped up because, frankly, there's going to be long moments of silence. There's going to be randomness that won't interest you. It doesn't fit. And however long it ends up is how long it ends up. But if you're new to us, welcome. And if you haven't found us on YouTube, check us out. There's a good chance that this will end up on YouTube with just some sort of a slideshow or something with a, go ahead, bring it up, listen to it, and be doing something else while you're listening to it type thing. But really, it's a gorgeous night. It's partly
fairly clear tonight.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's partly cloudy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to clear later tonight and get pretty cold, which is good. I mean, it means fall. It might actually be here. It's been a really unusual October.
Yeah, we've been in the mid-70s until Monday.
Tuesday,
yeah. And that's
just
out
weird.
Of character.
That
for
is very out of character. Mid-October for where we live, northern Wisconsin.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's going to be just a quiet evening around the fire. I'm probably going to end up having to chop up a 4-hour video. I wish I had a notebook with me so I could write down timestamps of when we get on and off topic, but
this one will be a process and a learning experience and see how it goes. If we like it, we'll do more. Hey, if you guys like it, we'll do more.
Heck, if there's topics you want to join us on. You know what I should do? Although Stye's still out at campus, get him in on this. So he would enjoy this too.
I think he would.
So our original plan for the weekend was actually to go camping, and I kind of wish we were. We didn't because, Virginia had a basketball game last night, and by the time we got home, I was not. It would have been about this time, 7:30, that we would have been setting up the trailer, and I don't like doing that in the dark.
Even with the one we have.
That's backing that trailer into a dark site, and not fun. That, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to go.
Yeah, that too.
So, we're going to try again next weekend. Where do you want to go? What sort of camping experience do you want to have next weekend?
I don't know. Thinking maybe either, like you said, like we were talking, for this weekend, either Twin or Emily Lake. I mean, they're right outside of town. They're not far.
No. And the advantage of those is we're there. If I leave work at 4 o'clock, we're there by 5.
Yep.
Or less, or sooner.
Yeah, because 4:30, quarter to 5 probably, and set up by 5:30.
Which means that we don't have to set up in the dark.
Yep.
But, being that it's getting colder, that either means that we're going to burn through a lot of battery and a lot of propane.
Yep.
Because we got to run the furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not against. Or we got to find a place with at least electric.
Right.
So that we can, because then we could use electric space heaters.
Right. Smith Lake.
Well, that leaves Smith Lake or one of the state parks.
Nemacoggin? That's
possible.
A trip.
That's a hike. We'd be getting there at dusk.
It'd be getting dark when we get there, yeah, but...
So there is one other thing I've been thinking, though. It's late in the season. The city's going to start partially shutting down their dump station. They never completely shut it down. I could go in there with a shovel and dig out the drain pipe and dump in the middle of winter.
We just can't flush.
They just won't have water turned on, so I can't flush. So one of the things I was thinking is if we hit and this is why Nemacolin wouldn't work, is if we can hit a place that has a dump station.
Okay.
I can kill two birds with one
Yeah.
stone.
State park.
So a state park.
Okay, where would you want to go then?
I was thinking heading towards Hazelhurst.
Okay.
Like Crystal Lake area. Haven't been there in years.
No. Closest we were there was Indian Mound.
And
For blank.
Lake Tomahawk.
Yeah. Which I liked. I liked the lake.
I liked the lake. Lake Tomahawk is gorgeous.
It's clear, it's sandy. Kids loved it.
The problem with Lake Tomahawk, well, that entire campground there, is there's no power.
No.
And they have some really weird generator hours.
They do.
And the problem with the generator hours is I'm sure we could do a full weekend without a generator with using the heat and everything.
Yep.
I'm sure we could.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we'd have a problem with dead batteries. They'd be weak by the end of the second day.
Right.
By the, probably weak by morning. But they would hold up to the weekend and running the furnace and all that.
Right.
That's why we have the 2 golf cart batteries. That being said, we would, with how cold it's getting at night, we will burn a lot of propane.
Oh, yeah, we would. Honestly, I think replace the tank we have and maybe grab an extra.
Probably. Because we have about 2/3 of a tank right now.
Yeah, I think we would need to go in with 2 full plus what we have.
We wouldn't burn
That
that
might
much.
be a little bit, but-
That would probably be enough for a week, to be honest.
You think so?
Yeah, I bet you what we
Okay.
have would last a weekend, but I'd want at least a full tank to switch over to.
Right.
What really burns the propane is when we're using the oven. Even more than the furnace, because the furnace only runs for 5-10 minutes at a crack. But that oven, if we're baking something, can run for 45 minutes. And that's where the problem comes in with the oven. But that's an entirely different story.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking, if we could get a place that has electric and then also has a dump station, we won't need another propane tank.
No, probably not.
Because we can plug in and we can heat the camper just like I am right now.
Right.
I mean, the camper's plugged in. I've got 2 space heaters plugged in there
Yeah.
on low,
Yeah.
set for about 50 degrees, and
Yeah,
that's
that was-
just so the thing doesn't freeze
That
up.
was nice in there this afternoon when we ran in to do some light cleaning.
Yeah, well, that's also because the sun was beating down on it.
Yeah. That is true.
I don't know how cold it got last night.
I don't either.
But either way, we're trying to, we could use space heaters instead of, and the nice thing about space heaters, as well as I do, if we shut the bedroom door in that camper, it gets cold in there because the thermostat's in the main area.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas if we use space heaters, we could have one in our bedroom, or
between you, me, and Teal.
between
we're
you,
gonna
me, and
die.
Teal. Well, what I was thinking is we'd put it in the bathroom.
Oh, that's not
And then
bad.
just leave the sliding door open.
Oh, that's not a bad
That way
idea.
the bathroom and our bedroom are heated by one,
And the rest is heated by another.
and then the slide area, the main living area, is heated by the other. And as long as they're on low, we won't have an issue.
Right.
And even if they're on high, we'd have 30 amp service. It'd
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
The only reason they're really on low right now is because I'm plugged into a 15 amp circuit. We don't have a 30 amp circuit here at home.
Right.
That's got to get changed. I got to put a 30 amp circuit on the side of the house.
That'd be a good idea since we usually leave it plugged in all winter.
We do leave it plugged in all winter. So yeah, a 30 amp circuit on the side of the house, that's coming. That's a no-brainer. It needs to happen. What would be really cool, and it would require some creative wiring and maybe the help of an electrician friend of mine, is if I could have that single plug play double duty.
Oh, okay.
So it goes to a transfer switch, and normally it's outputting power that I can plug into the camper and to power the camper off of. But if for some reason the lights are out, I could also flip a bunch of switches in the basement reverse it so that it acts as an input.
Yeah.
One upgrade you and I were talking about over the summer that really surprised me. You asked me about lithium batteries.
Okay.
And I bring it up because it does relate to this time of year.
I was just going to ask, why does that surprise you?
Well, one, lithium batteries the fact that you asked about them surprises me just because of how expensive they are.
Well, yeah, but I also remember when we were originally talking about I remember you telling me their capabilities and thinking about it. Well, that makes sense for what we do.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other weekend when I was out at Black Lake, and they are, if you're willing to go with the cheaper, not brand name like Battleborn,
right,
you can get a 100 amp hour for $350. Well,
that's not bad.
I paid $250 for our 2 golf carts, so that's only 100 more.
Yeah.
But here's the reason why I say they relate to what we were talking about with fall camping. Lithium batteries don't charge well when they're warm. At all.
Warm?
Or excuse me, when they're cold.
Okay.
Like at all. Don't charge them, they'll damage them.
So maybe we have to have a set of both.
Well, the new ones, some of the newer ones,
or at least until they're more developed.
I was just going to say, some of the newer ones, they're starting to solve that problem. And cold is a relative term. How cold is too cold?
I was going to say, for us right now, what would you guess our temperature's at?
I can tell you what it's at. I'll look it up on my phone.
My guess is probably in the mid-50s right now.
My cellular device has us at 48.
48? Wow. And we're sitting outside in sweatshirts.
Yeah.
For
Low
us,
of 35 tonight.
For us in northern Wisconsin,
this is still warm.
Gorgeous weather for this time of year.
It is. We got up to, I think, 58 today.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is what we should have been seeing a month ago.
About 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Oh, I'd say a month ago.
A month, mid-September, we're still getting up typically into the 60s.
Yes, not 70s like we were.
Not early September, but not...
Mid-September, we were still getting... Mid-September, we were still hitting 80. Our last weekend at Black Lake was 82 degrees.
It was warm that weekend.
So...
I was just floored.
It's been a weird...
But our nights have been getting close to normal.
Yeah, we should be down into the below freezing.
We should be getting
night.
closer. We should have had one freeze by now, yeah. That is true.
And we haven't. I don't even think we've had frost yet.
No, I don't think I've seen anyone at Gondomar.
But either way, the big thing that needs to be solved with lithiums, and thankfully we've got 1 to 2 years yet on the golf cart batteries, is... Because they're only through their second season now.
Yeah, that's right. We got these, early, mid last year.
But the big thing that needs to be solved is the cold weather charging issue. Because we like camping in the cold.
Frankly, this time of year is my favorite time of year to camp.
It is. I swear that's a snowmobile.
It does sound like a snowmobile.
I swear it looks like a snowmobile. There is no snow on the ground. I mean, it could be a four-wheeler, it could be one of those sport quads.
My guess is that's what it is.
But the way the look as I go by, it looked like a snowmobile.
I've seen a bunch of those sport things go up and down the road the last couple of weeks. So, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
No, but getting back to the batteries. The thing is, if I go lithium, I still want 2 batteries.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want less than that, even with
well,
something
but that
like
means
it
means we go from 105 usable to 200.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
And the nice thing is their voltage doesn't fall off nearly as fast.
And that's part of the reason I asked about them is, like I said, I remember you mentioning that when we got the golf cart batteries, that they were the lithium batteries, and told me what they're capable of, that if you can get, you can
get like 90%.
So much amp and wattage,
you get like 90% of it.
Almost all of it. Why wouldn't you?
Because they're $1,000 a piece.
And then you plan for it.
Yep.
Which is kind of what we started doing after talking about them.
I think one of the mods I want to make this summer Oh, dryer's done. That's me.
No. I was going to say, wait a minute, I never set a timer.
I think one of the mods I want to make this spring, I want to get some heavy 8-gauge wire and see if I can get wiring up into the cabinet where the booster is.
Okay.
Dedicated wiring. I'll hook it up to one of the self-resetting breakers outside for an inverter.
Okay. I like that idea.
Because using the inverter through the trailer's wiring, we're seeing way too much voltage drop, things useless.
Right. I know we've got about 6 months, but early season camping.
1, it depends on when the campground's open.
Yep.
2, it depends on whether or not we store the camper this year.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about storing the camper.
Right.
If we store it, we might, depending on where it is in the warehouse, we may not be able to get to it until April or May.
True.
I'm not sure I'm going to store it.
I don't know either.
Part of me wants to just cover it. Get a really big tarpet, cover it.
Couple of big tarps and just cover them to protect it a little bit, and yeah.
We've never covered them before, so I don't know that we need to start now.
Well, we've never had this one this nice.
No, we've never had one this nice, and that's why I've been thinking about...
I also don't know that it was covered previously.
I don't know that it was either.
I don't know that they did.
I can tell you the next nice day I need to get the pressure washer out and clean it.
That it needs.
It is dirty.
Oh, yeah, after being under those pine trees all
After
summer.
being under those pines at Black Lake all summer, it is filthy.
Oh, yeah.
I would love for the Forest Service to take the first row of those down just to
would
get them away from the trailer.
I would too.
They're not going to, I know that, but
You can wish.
you know, if it was our property,
they would be gone. If it was our property, our permanent site, it never left, yeah, they'd be gone.
I am going to put some thought into maybe putting the panels closer to the wood rack like we had at the end of the year.
They seem to do pretty good there.
And I'm thinking maybe that would be a better place for them.
Well, okay, so you think about last year, the first year on that site, that was pretty thick last year.
It was. There was no way I was going to get...
No, and first half of this year was pretty thick, too.
Well, the main reason I don't want to put them there is I'm worried they're going to disappear.
Right, but if we put them behind that wood rack, they're hidden a little bit more.
Well, and even if they're not, if I clamp them... If I chain them to the rack and chain the rack to a tree...
Right.
They're not going anywhere.
No.
So that's something I want to investigate.
Right.
Is running like some eye bolts or something through their frames, and chaining them to the rack, and then from there chaining them to a tree. I mean, granted, somebody that's dishonest, if we're not there with a chainsaw, is going to zip that whatever tree, because I don't want it underneath a big red pine. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
It's going to be underneath some little sapling.
Well, if next year is anything like this year, you're going to be home 24 hours.
Yeah, that worked very well.
It did. It actually worked beautifully.
It worked very well to be home just at 24 to 48 hours. 36, I think 36 was the
longest
tops.
you were home.
Because I would maybe come home. No.
You were getting home about the time I was,
think
if not just after me.
I think I was home less than 24.
Yeah, I think you were probably closer to...
Because I was getting home 4 or 5 o'clock and heading back out by 2 the next day. Because my meeting was always in the morning.
So you're looking at... Yeah, you were less than 24 hours.
So, and I don't see why that would change again.
No.
If anything, depending on yours and Caden's schedules and whether or not I have meetings all the time, it may be where I'm out there for 2 or 3 weeks at a crack. Yeah. Which it was. That's how it was when the girls were down at your mom's at the beginning of the summer and I didn't have meetings. Yeah. I was out there for, I think, 2.5 weeks straight. Yeah. I didn't come into town. I think
that's what you figured, yeah.
You came out on Friday, brought me food, and took my laundry and some clean clothes. And then you took my laundry home.
Right.
Which really, I don't go through much laundry out there.
No.
Because I reuse so many things. I mean, I change my underwear every day, but for the most part, I don't, I might wear the same shirt for 2 days if I'm not really sweaty.
Yeah. Well,
And
you're in something out.
Right. It's, or like you said, I go down to the lake and I rinse it out and hang it up.
Yeah.
So really, I would like to be able to stay 2 weeks at a crack.
Right. And I think as the girls get older, that's going to be more doable.
Mm-hmm. Basically, what I'd like to do is get far enough ahead with the YouTube content that I can come home every other week.
Right.
Upload. You can do thumbnails and descriptions.
Yep. By then I'll have the hang of it.
Yep.
The only thing, and I think you're doing this, is the keywords.
The keywords I'm doing.
Yep.
But you can figure that out.
Yeah.
But the big problem with this whole theory is editing.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have
the
power out there to do it.
Well, the Pro can do it. The MacBook Pro can do it, but that thing is becoming so unreliable.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what I want to buy to replace it. That's honestly the big problem. I want something that's not crazy energy, chew through the energy.
An energy hog?
Yeah, I don't want an energy hog. Because then I could just take my desktop out there.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Fire up the Gini, I'm editing videos.
Yeah, getting this next batch ready.
But I don't want... So I want something that if I'm doing just light web browsing or whatever, that it'll run for maybe a day or two, with my doing reservations and everything.
Right.
Without needing to be charged. But in the same token, I want it to have enough horsepower that when I sit down to do the video editing, it may not render out as fast as the desktop here at the house, but I want it to have enough oomph that it can at least, if it's a 10-minute video, I'd like it to render 1:1.
Right.
Maybe 1:2.
Right.
So no more than 20 minutes for a 10-minute video.
Right.
That's the part I'm struggling with, is finding
the right.
And you know me, I don't want Windows, I don't want Mac, I want a Linux-based machine. There's options.
Yeah. Although this year we did pretty good on our
we did very
as
good.
Staying ahead and
normally this time of year we're out of videos and we've got the one that's going live tomorrow.
Yep.
The one that's going live about last weekend at Black Lake.
Yep. We got Halloween coming up.
And then we've got the special Halloween done. The Halloween special.
So we got like 1 week in there where we don't have anything ready to go.
No, we're good until the first weekend in November.
You're right.
We've got the next 3 Sundays.
Yeah.
Scheduled.
Yeah. Which is awesome for us.
Right, especially where we're going to go camping next weekend. There's probably a couple videos there. We'll probably get
something out of that.
If we can make 3 more videos, then it's Wild Christmas Tree.
Yeah.
We won't keep this pace up through the winter. I don't see how we keep up with 1 video a week, but maybe we can do we can intermix some podcasts and stuff
in there and see how this works.
Which one thing I would love your guys' feedback on in the comments, wherever the heck this thing is edited, posted, is I would love to hear what you guys think about going back to some of our earlier videos. I'll fire up OBS and I'll do like a director's cut of it. I'll watch the video, I'll pause it, I'll make comments.
Yep.
Or maybe we do watch parties where it's a live stream.
Yeah.
Where I'm funneling it through OBS. You can see me in the corner and I pause it and I respond to your comments. I want to revisit some of those older videos.
Let's actually see how much we've grown, though,
just from the standpoint of, oh my god, I can't believe I published this.
Yeah, exactly.
Or to revisit some of the topics.
Yeah, because there's some actually interesting topics we've covered.
There is. And a little hint for next year. This year was the year of etiquette. Next year, I think, is going to be the year of fun. I want to make fun videos.
Yeah.
So you may see some, what do I do at camp hobby type videos.
Yep.
There may be some hiking
out on the lake videos.
Out on the lake videos. I want to get a GoPro and a harness for teal.
Have teal perspective.
I think having a teal cam would be fun.
Oh yeah, especially hiking. Or just in general.
I wouldn't even mind doing more around the campfire type videos where we set the camera up and just start talking by the fire.
Yeah, we just got to get in the habit of doing it, though.
Kind of like we are right now.
Yeah, exactly. We've had so many missed opportunities this summer.
We have, and I feel bad about it.
I do too.
Because there's so much content there. I'm not one to just fire up the camera and start talking to it.
No, I'd rather... I like the idea and the feel of the very candid, real-life type conversations.
Besides, we're Tales of a Campground host. We got to tell stories.
We do.
So far, you've heard us talk plans in this podcast. In this episode.
In this episode, yes.
Maybe we need to tell a story.
Maybe.
What story should we tell? First of all, when are we going to publish this? Do you think I'll publish this before next Sunday?
Probably. Honestly, I don't think so.
Or
this one might kind of sit in the wings until we figure out how we want to do it.
Well, what I was thinking is this might be something that just goes up on like a Wednesday, especially if I do it like as a YouTube audio only type thing.
Right. Excuse me.
In which case, I don't think I'll have it ready for this Wednesday. It would be next Wednesday. In which case, I could tell the pizza story from last weekend.
You could. You could share that story.
Because that would not be a spoiler at that point.
No, it wouldn't.
So last weekend, when I was at Black Lake with Michael and Joe, we'd been planning this for over a month.
Yeah, well, about 6 weeks you guys started planning
it? For about 6 weeks we've been planning it. Michael and Joe, like me, are amateur radio operators. Well, like Stephanie too. Like us. Stephanie the ham too. But Michael's really heavy into an activity called Parks on the Air. And the idea behind Parks on the Air is you go and set up a portable amateur radio station in a park. And pretty much every park in the country, except for like your city parks.
It almost sounded like you said in a bark.
In a park?
That's what it sounded like to me.
In a woof?
You
woofed. I woofed. In a park.
Thank you.
You set up a portable station in a park, and pretty much every park in this country, in the world for that matter, has a ID number, with the exception of your city parks, which is unfortunate because there's a city park like 4 blocks from us that I think would be fun to activate. But you set up a station and you just talk to as many people as you can, because there's people that their hobby is to sit there and talk to the people that are activating these parks. Well, Michael's really big into this, and I thought this would be fun to learn how to do, because I could keep activating the campground all summer.
Oh yeah, that'd be a fun...
I'm not against just setting up the radio and playing with it.
But for you need to have
but I like having a
goal
purpose.
in mind. A purpose, exactly.
So last weekend we went out to Black Lake, and Joe and Michael came, and they taught me about Parks on the Air, which I could have figured out if we were being perfectly honest, but it seemed like a ready-made excuse to hang out with a couple of my friends. We planned all this food. Joe handled breakfast.
A field trip. Which you guys never did take, did you?
Well, Michael and Joe made it to Elf.
Did they make it over there? Okay, good. Good. I'm glad they at least...
They made it to Elf.
Made it out there.
After the tire fiasco.
Yeah. Well,
so
that was one of the things that they wanted to...
This whole weekend started out as an excrement pile. An excrement show.
Yes.
It hit the rotary oscillator.
Hard.
I was hooked up Friday morning because I took a day off from work. I thought, you know what? I've got personal days that I kind of use or lose, so I might as well use them. And I had the camper hooked up, ready to go at 9:30. I was going to get there early. Walked in the house to get Teal because she was coming with, and I went, what's that smell? And I went down to the basement, and one of the things we got to get figured out with our house is about every 8 to 12 months our sewer backs up.
Yep.
Guess what happened?
Oh, yeah.
The sewer backed up. So I ended up having to wait for the local roto-rooter plumber guy to come and clean out the laterals so that everything was good, and I spent the day cleaning up the mess. Got out to the campground about 5 o'clock.
Forgot his antenna stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot my antenna stuff, but that's a different part of the story. On the way out there, I get a call from Joe.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Joe and Michael are in Hayward with a flat tire.
Yes.
They have called every shop in Hayward because they can air the tire up, drive for about 20 minutes, and then they have to do it again. They're at L&M.
Hayward's about an hour from Black Lake.
45 minutes.
45 minutes to an hour. Give you an idea of where they're at.
And actually, it was probably more like 3. You had just gotten done with work, so it was probably about 3 o'clock, actually.
Yeah, because I called you and you were on your way out, and
so they
you told me about that. So
they called me just before I was about to, end up in no man's land until I got the cell booster set up. And they're in Hayward with a flat tire. They're sitting at L&M. They have an appointment that thankfully someone had canceled because nobody could get them in to fix this tire. They were actually starting to look at what L&M had for tire patching kits when the gal from the desk yelled over, "We have a cancellation for 5:30. Do you want it?" Yes, they took it. So they sat in Hayward until a little after 6 when the tire was fixed, and then they came out. Well, that night we made hobo packets, which turned out great. Everybody enjoyed them. Joe was handling breakfast. Little snafu Stephanie mentioned, I forgot my antennas. She brought them out, no problem. And I didn't realize
Teal wasn't too thrilled, though.
Teal wasn't too thrilled with me because I forgot.
Food.
Well, there was some food.
There was some food out there. We keep
dog food in the camper.
Pretty much a bag of dog food in the camper year round.
But it was pretty much empty.
Yeah.
There was enough for...
Coming to the end of the season.
Yep,
and...
there was enough for maybe 2 bowls.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Joe to the rescue. He made sausage and gravy and biscuits and bacon the first morning. Well, the three of us didn't eat it all. He put it in a bowl, and I saw it sitting out, and I put it in the refrigerator so Teal couldn't get to it.
I was going to say, we should mention Teal is a counter surfer.
Oh, yes, she will find food.
Which is...
We were warned about that. When we got her, we were warned about that. She is a counter surfer, especially with tomatoes. She's expanded her palate since we've adopted her.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, the next day, or that night, after the activation, I've made 15 contacts. Michael made well over 100. Show off. And Joe's made 12 or 13. I think he made a baker's dozen. We're going to do pizzas. I've got the pizza oven. Michael had made a fermented pizza crust. That was our original plan to make for Friday night, and then we were going to do the hobo packets on Saturday, but because of the tire thing, everything got reversed. So this dough has been sitting in he says it's a DC compressor refrigerator. It kind of reminds me of those coolers that have the condenser on the side.
The electric coolers?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of an electric cooler, but better.
Mm-hmm.
This dough was wet. I mean, you could not... It was sticking to saran wrap wet.
Oof.
Well, you and I know from experience, that is no bueno with that pizza oven.
No.
It will stick. Even with the cream of wheat that we use as kind of to help get the stuff off the peel. Thankfully, Michael had some flour, and I'm really trying to work flour into this dough, and I got it to where it was sliding around on the peel, and I thought, okay, we're good. Got it all assembled. It had been sitting on that peel for maybe 3 minutes. Well, actually, it was sitting on the cutting board because I didn't assemble it on the peel. But I had put cream of wheat and flour down. Went to slide it off to the peel. The crust tore, and it stuck. So we ended up with a scrambled mess that I managed. That I pulled out more dough, and I made another crust, thinking, well, I'll just flip this on top of this and make a stuffed crust. It won't have it. It won't sit on.
Trying to outsmart the process.
I'm trying to outsmart the problem. Thinking outside the box here. So I'm thinking it's only going to sit on, and I set it on the peel, thinking it's only going to sit there for a couple of seconds.
You
it
science
shouldn't
teachers
stick.
are all the same.
I'm thinking it shouldn't stick. Flipped it over. I checked. Yep, it's sliding on the peel. I went to drop it into the pizza oven. It stuck. We ended up with this mutant calzone scrambled pizza thing. It was very good.
Looks are deceiving, apparently.
It was very good. What we ended up doing was making like little 6-inch diameter pizzas that we'd stretch them out. Okay, it slides. We'd get the crust into the oven and pre-bake the crust a little bit.
I guess whatever
Then
worked.
we'd do the assembly. It worked, but it was just...
I wish I was there to watch this.
Oh, man, it was so funny.
I wish.
It was way just funny. You know, we gave Teal a little bit of dough and stuff that had been cooked but didn't have any onion and stuff on it, and she got dinner. The next morning, Joe again makes breakfast. He made more biscuits, and he made bacon and ham and eggs, and outdid himself. Really good. Joe forgot that Teal was a counter surfer, and he left the bowl of leftovers on the kitchen or on the slide table, the dining room table. And Teal was in the camper, unsupervised. Because Joe had gone across to the bathroom to change. I don't know why he didn't just use the bathroom to change in the camper, but
anyway.
Whatever. Because he stayed in the camper with me, and I had run down to Michael's site, and I forget why. And I came back a couple minutes later, and Joe goes, "We have a problem," or rather, "You're going to have a problem later." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Teal ate 3 biscuits, 2 pieces of ham, some bacon." Oh, so she got breakfast.
Well, at least it's not what Libby and Chelsea did last summer. We were making breakfast, and the bacon was just right. They each snagged a piece raw right out of our hands.
Those two.
Yeah, they saw that stuff come out. They were right there. Libby still does that.
Libby,
She's
yes.
taught Teal that.
Yes, those two, they have to have their
bacon and eggs in the morning.
When we make breakfast in the morning, they have to have...
They get what's stuck to the pan.
They have to have the pan
scrapings.
The egg scrapings, as we call it.
Yes, and they look forward to them. They won't eat their breakfast until they have that on top.
It's entertaining. Life always is with dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
So, last weekend was pretty fun, especially with it was fun to hang out with my friends that I haven't seen since we moved up here.
No.
Well, I saw Joe last year for field day.
Yeah, we saw Joe last year.
Joe and Jerry.
Yep.
But I haven't seen Michael since we moved up here.
Years.
So it was a fun time, and we started putting our heads together for field day next year. That'll be fun. What we've got in mind will be fun. We've got a couple logistics to work out, but it'll be fun. Clouds are really pushing off. The sky's a lot clearer than it was.
45 minutes.
I'm starting to see stars.
I know, so am I.
This is where I wish we lived out of town.
Yeah.
I don't mind. We're a block in town. It's not like we're in the middle of a major metropolis where we live in a city of, 2,300 people, 2,500?
Roughly, yeah.
And we're a block inside of it.
Typical small town Saturday night.
Yeah. Kids are running around with their pickups.
There's nothing else to do. Well, thanks for joining us around the campfire tonight for our conversation. Hope you enjoyed it.
If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you click that like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so that you get more notifications of when new videos and podcasts drop. If you're not listening to this on YouTube and you're listening someplace else, make sure you subscribe, because I can see us doing more of these. I don't know how regularly, but I could see us doing them.
Yeah, I can see them coming a little more regularly once we get the hang of it.
That's the hard part.
Right.
Is getting the hang of it.
Right.
And making sure we have things to talk about.
Yep.
So I guess until next time.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it.
Stay safe. And make sure you guys pay attention to the world around you, because there's stories everywhere.
There are.
Take care.
Good night.